The Miami Dolphins had a really good run these last couple of years, but it's quickly coming to an end. Going into this offseason, this team is in complete disarray. I mean, how do your star players not respect the head coach? I've never heard of a situation like this. So Mike McDaniel, no matter how many times he finds players, they still continue to show up late to meetings. He doesn't have the respect of the guys in the locker room. And it's not really surprising. If you look at Mike McDaniel, you cannot tell me this guy doesn't look like Leonard from the Big Bang Theory. He looks like a nerd. I kind of wouldn't take him that serious as a head coach neither, but he wins. It's not like he's one of the worst head coaches in the league. Yeah, he has struggled against good teams, but from a record standpoint, he's probably been the best head coach the Miami Dolphins have had in a very long time. I can't recall the last time the Dolphins were this consistently good going into the season. He has Tua playing good football, but that's the problem. Tua wasn't around this past season, and you have to start Tyler Huntley and a bunch of other different quarterbacks. And yeah, he's supposed to be an offensive-minded coach, but you can't work with everybody. Not every quarterback is, serviceable starter material. Some guys are just good enough to get you by for a game or two. Other guys are just not going to help you survive the majority of the season. And now with Tua getting all this money and yet becoming injury prone, he didn't really have too many injury concerns until this season. And he has injuries that are now starting to pile up. You wonder if he's going to become Chad Pennington 2.0, which has to be the Miami Dolphins' worst fear. You overpaid for the second coming of Chad Pennington. I don't put the blame of this past season solely on Mike McDaniel. I put it on the general manager. The offensive line still isn't good. They neglected that. And you go into this offseason with 29th in available cap space to spend in free agency, under the cap by $15.8 million. How are you going to improve the offensive line? How are you going to address the holes on your roster? So not only are you heading to become the worst team in the AFC East, but you have overspent and overinvested in players that are not giving you a good return on investment. And you're not really drafting all that great neither. If Mike McDaniel gets fired, I believe he gets another head coaching job. But, their general manager, he is responsible for the situation that they're in. And with the Jets getting Aaron Glenn and the Patriots hiring Mike Vrabel, the rest of the AFC East outside of the Buffalo Bills have caught up to you. And you were never on the same level as Buffalo because they've owned you every time they played you under Mike McDaniel. But the Dolphins are becoming a poverty franchise again. These last 4 to 5 years, they were a competitive football team. You knew they were going to be in the playoff conversation. If Tua ever gets injured this past season, Miami is in the playoffs without a doubt because they win when he's healthy. You can call him overrated all you want to and say he's not all that good, but there's not too many quarterbacks that have been consistent as what Tua has been. Okay, he hasn't been good against some of the best teams on their schedule at times, but, is it a him problem or is that a personnel problem around him? It's a reason why he gets the ball out fast, and it is part of the offense, but it also is because they're trying to overcome the limitation of the offensive line issues that they continue to deal with every single year, it feels like. So it looks like the Dolphins are quickly turning into a dumpster fire, and they could turn it around depending on what they do this offseason, but I don't know how they are unless you can trade Tyreek Hill and you can free up some dead cap and you can get some money off the books, restructure some contracts to improve your offensive line. Because that's really all the Dolphins need. You just need to, Use every draft pick that you have coming up in this draft on the offensive line, and all the money that you have available to spend in free agency. Use it to improve the offensive line and maybe get you a Jameis Winston at quarterback. And that's it. That's your playoff team again. You're just too soft because you're not physical. You're not good up front. So if you stop neglecting the offensive line, you could actually be a team that maybe could compete for the AFC. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. It looks like that dream is over. It was a good run. I still think Mike McDaniel is a quality coach, but man, the Dolphins just are heading towards disaster right now.